dangers of celebrities making anti-Semitic comments have dramatic consequences due to the sheer number of people under their influence. Celebrities publicly airing their hatred may cause for a larger group of people to publicly spout similar views than who previously would, under the impression that it's acceptable to do so. People may also begin behaving violently towards these communities, making life needlessly dangerous for millions of people. Celebrities are aware of their power they hold in society, which may be why they decide to spew anti-Semitic hatred, and it's incredibly distressing to hear about it, especially if it comes from someone you previously enjoyed the work of. Today we are going to be counting down the top 10 celebrities accused of being anti-Semitic. At number 10 is Mel Gibson. At number 10 is Mel Gibson. The Braveheart lead has repeatedly made everyone aware of his bigoted views on Jewish people over the years. The multitude of negative comments made about the Jewish community come alongside a slew of sexist, homophobic, and racist remarks that have many people wondering how Mel still has a career in Hollywood. During the mid-90s, the actor's particular anti-Semitic outspokenness began, with one exceptionally awful moment in 1996 when he reportedly asked actress Winona Ryder, who is Jewish, if she was an oven dodger, a heinously creative attack that makes me wonder how much time he spends crafting these insults. Gibson also co-wrote and directed the 2004 film The Passion of the Christ, which critics noted was riddled with anti-Semitic stereotypes, which was only exacerbated by Gibson's refusal to bring on board Jewish scholars as consultants due to the subject matter of the film was absolutely a necessary step of the filmmaking process. Gibson's most unmistakably anti-Semitic moment was in 2006 when he was pulled over for driving under the influence and began to go on a tirade against Jewish people after finding out the arresting officer was Jewish, claiming that they were responsible for all the wars in the world. Subsequently, he apologized, but not long after he felt, quote, annoyed that people were still bringing it up. People were probably a little more than annoyed at him for saying this at all. In fact, many people probably felt threatened and fearful that these ideals were being spewed by such a huge name in Hollywood. At number 9 is Nick Cannon, host of Wild 'N Out, came under fire in 2020 for promoting anti-Semitism on his podcast Cannon's Class. In the offending episode, he interviews Professor Griff from the rap group Public Enemy, a historically anti-Semitic person who claimed decades ago in an interview that Jewish people were, quote, behind the majority of wickedness that goes on across the globe. It's not a surprise that Cannon decided to give him a platform on his podcast because he went on to ask his opinion on why we give, quote, so much power to the theys in reference to Jewish people, because the theys apparently were those turning into the Illuminati, the Zionists, and the Rothschilds. Cannon goes on to bring up other anti-Semitic tropes. This podcast cost him his job at Wild 'N Out, his comedy improv show, and was dropped by the parent company Viacom CBS. In 2021, he attempted to apologize for his comments on an interview with Good Morning America, saying, quote, my journey's not going to stop whether the person watching this forgives me or not. I'm still going to hopefully through this process be on the right side of history and bring people closer together, which reads less like a genuine apology and more like damage control. But Viacom CBS later forgave Cannon and mended their working relationship, and he's currently hosting a Wild 'N Out and still having as many children as humanly possible. At number 8 is Donald Trump. The former president and 400-time Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination invoker was sure to make this list. Trump was accused of racism, homophobia, xenophobia, and yes, anti-Semitism over the course of his entire career. In 2022, Trump posted on Truth Social, the alt-tech social media platform created by Trump that has been described as a threat to democracy by The Independent, that, quote, no president has done more for Israel than he has, adding, quote, somewhat surprisingly, however, our wonderful evangelicals are far more appreciative of this than the people of Jewish faith, especially those living in the US. Those living in Israel, though, are a different story. Highest approval rating in the world, could easily be their prime minister. He went on to say that American Jewish people should, quote, get their act together and appreciate what they have in Israel before it's too late. An incredibly wild thing to say for reasons I don't think I'm allowed to say on this channel. This is far from the first time Trump made horrifically anti-Semitic comments. Decades ago, Trump said that he didn't like black people counting his money and instead only wanted, quote, short guys that wear yarmulkes every day to do the job. Racist and anti-Semitic. That's a 2-for-1. This comment just reiterates awful Jewish stereotypes, but it is absolutely not surprising from the man we call the 45th president of the United States. At number 7 is John Galliano. Designer for the House of Dior was the target of severe backlash after he decided to verbally assault a couple at a bar in Paris with anti-Semitic insults, unprovoked. He made upwards of 30 anti-Semitic comments in the span of 45 minutes. A video also circulated of the designer proclaiming his love for that infamous 1940s German leader, which led to Galliano losing his job at Dior. A French court also found him guilty of public insults, fabulous that we can charge people with that, and was given a suspended fine of 6,000 euros. Galliano later apologized, telling Charlie Rose in a 2013 interview that he hopes that his atonement will allow him a second chance, blaming his addiction to substances as a reason for his tirade, but the courts ruled that Galliano had sufficient awareness of his act despite his addiction and fragile state. At number 6 is PewDiePie. The Swedish gamer, also known as Felix Schellberg, was at one point the biggest creator on the YouTube platform. His stardom led him to make appearances on the Walking Dead, South Park, and late shows hosted by Stephen Colbert and Conan O'Brien. He was set to launch a new reality comedy show entitled Scare PewDiePie on YouTube's streaming platform produced by Disney and Maker Studios. However, this was quickly halted in 2017 after the Wall Street Journal published a story and video compilation of Shellberg's anti-Semitic content, the most infamous of which was from a video where he paid two Indian men on a freelance site to hold a sign reading a blatantly anti-Semitic threat while they laugh and dance. The men have apologized for the video, saying they did not understand what the quote meant. Afterwards, Shellberg tried to walk it back by claiming his words were taken out of context, but later admitted that the joke was taken too far. But YouTube cancelled and removed all episodes of Scare PewDiePie, and Disney and Maker Studios cut ties with him. At number 5 is Miley Cyrus, the former Disney child star and now pop powerhouse, offended fans in 2013 when she said some things that many deemed to be anti-Semitic. On an interview with Hunger TV, Cyrus began by saying that it's quote weird that many magazines, movies, and other pieces of media targeted to young people are often driven by people that are 40 years too old, a fair sentiment, but Cyrus continued by saying that it shouldn't be a quote 70-year-old Jewish man that doesn't leave his desk all day telling me what clubs want to hear. There was really no need to add his faith into this hypothetical, so people were unsurprisingly peeved or even confused by her comment. 2 years later, Cyrus made another strange move when she showed up to James Franco's bar mitzvah wearing a humongous six-pointed star and a gold cape featuring the phrase "Shalom y'all." Coming to a party on theme is great, but this was a bit too egregious to not be labeled insensitive. At number 4 is Jamie Foxx. Last week, the Masked Singer judge made an Instagram post that had many people feeling threatened. The post read, "They got Jesus, what do you think they'll do to you? Hashtag fake friends, hashtag fake love." Fox quickly deleted this post after users explained that this notorious "they" that some took to mean Jewish people and echoed the hateful belief that all Jewish people came together and crucified Jesus Christ as one. This was an idea that was used to justify violence against Jewish people for centuries, for example that time in the 40s. Jamie has since profusely apologized for the post, saying that he understands his choice of words was not ample, but that it was never his intent to even imply that he was talking about Jewish people, but just Jesus' 12 apostles as a general thing. Fox just wanted to make a statement since he was apparently betrayed by a fake friend, and that's all he meant by "they," going on to say that he only has love in his heart for everyone. At number 3 is Kanye West. Kanye has had a pretty legendary fall from grace in the past few years for many reasons, but his anti-Semitic comments have made quite a few headlines due to their absolutely absurd nature. In the fall of 2022, Kanye West made multiple controversial comments about Jewish people just days after he showed an awful White Lives Matter t-shirt design at Paris Fashion Week. In a particularly notorious example, a tweet in which he said quote he was a bit sleepy, but when he woke up he was going to do something pretty threatening and dangerous to Jewish people. The media interpreted this proclamation as a reference to the DEFCON 3 military preparedness system. This led to Adidas cutting ties with Kanye, pulling his products immediately, and all of his social media to be suspended in the days following. This led to West's ex-wife Kim Kardashian to say on Twitter quote, "Hate speech is never okay or excusable. I stand together with the Jewish community and call on the terrible violence and hateful rhetoric towards them to come to an immediate end." Our runner-up is Charlie Sheen, the 2.5 Men lead. The 2.5 Men lead also had a wild fall from grace after a pretty intense level of stardom for a lot of reasons. In 2011, between seasons of the CBS sitcom 2.5 Men, Sheen appeared on the Alex Jones radio show, a move that's a pretty big step forward to the public disliking you on its own, but Sheen went on to challenge his sitcom's creator Chuck Lorre to a fight, which led to his character being axed from the show. Shortly after, a text message sent to his wife was published, which read a threat and an anti-Semitic remark made about Chuck, and Sheen went on to deny ever sending it. The rest of his career was pretty much run to the ground after a slew of abuse allegations towards women came to light. And our number 1 spot is Tila Tequila. This former MTV reality show star isn't known for much, as many stars aren't these days. She gained most of her notoriety from MySpace, self-proclaimed, but led to a very unexciting reality show stint, one appearance being on Celebrity Big Brother. However, she was ejected from the house after just one day due to many viewer complaints of her controversial statements made in 2013. These statements are her true claim to fame. Those 2013 posts include claims of interstellar battles, conspiracy theories, and an alt-right manifesto. She then began spouting hate even harder when she posted a photo of herself to Facebook dressed up as that sexy version of that 40s German leader, which led to the platform closing her account. She blamed these actions on addiction and depression, but in 2016, she tweeted some disgusting anti-Semitic threats to Ben Shapiro, who is Jewish, and said that she would gladly sacrifice her own life to get rid of every Jewish person and to preserve the white race, which is confusing since she is Asian. Anyway, she's been suspended from social media platforms like Twitter and Instagram, resorting to online fundraising advertising campaigns for a career. She did a bunch of other gross things during Trump's presidency, which I'm sure you can just make an assumption of and be correct. And in the current day, Tequila has announced her own line of e-liquids for vaporizers in collaboration with Blaze Vapors, which seems like a natural progression for someone of this genre. And that is our top 10 list of celebrities accused of being anti-Semitic. Let us know if you forgot anyone notable in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.